this podcast. So, okay, all right. You can speak.
All right, we can start, right? Jaloliddin, are you here?
Oh,
Seems like
sorry.
some technical issues.
Okay, yeah. So, first of all, thanks for agreeing my invitation. I really appreciate that.
Thank you
And
for inviting.
yeah. So, first of all, can you talk about yourself? Where did you study? For example, design basics, design sphere, and company you are where you are working there.
Sure. Yeah, so as you can see, my name is Azizbek Matchanov. I'm a product designer at Super Dispatch. I'm in a product design sphere for more than 3 years. And Super Dispatch, a little bit about our company. So at Super Dispatch, we're working on all-in-one platform for auto transport. And basically, simply speaking, is the platform for moving cars. We have different products. So there is a carrier product, there is shipper product, marketplace, mobile application for drivers as well. And I'm working on the carrier product. So the carrier product is more about transporters. So those guys who are moving vehicles from one point to another. So they are using our application and our dashboard. So on the carrier side, we have dispatcher and drivers. Drivers are doing vehicle inspection, reports, and other stuff. And they're taking vehicle from one point and delivering to another point. And our mobile application helps with the inspection and all of those reports and loads management, of course. And on the dashboard side, we have dispatcher who's looking at those loads, assigning those loads to those drivers, taking loads from the marketplace that we have, which is a different product, right? And also, as I mentioned, we have a shipper side. So shippers are those who are actually taking those loads from clients, and they are publishing those loads on our marketplace. And then carriers, who are dispatchers and drivers, they are one company. Basically, the dispatchers take those loads from the marketplace that we have. Yeah, I think that generally explains what our company is doing. So we're making software for those folks. And now about me, where I studied, right? So I studied at Inha University, was studying at the Faculty of Computer Science and Engineering. Wanted to be an iOS engineer first, like iOS developer. Was doing a bunch of projects as well at the iOS stuff. Was also doing a front end stuff. Was also doing a back end stuff, and at the end decided to be a designer. Was doing a lot of projects with my friends during my studies. Like whenever they were doing some projects, they were calling me and asking, "Hey, maybe you can help us with the design stuff." At that time, I was doing some shitty design stuff. Yeah, but yeah, basically, then one of my friends said that there is a vacancy in a Super Dispatch, and I decided to apply. As I was doing design stuff, I wanted to see like if it's my thing, just continue doing that stuff. I applied and started working as a junior product designer. At the time, I think we had three designers, or maybe two. So the lead designer was Nader Khalilov. So he gave a lot of stuff and directed on the way, I would say. And
Mhm.
yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And can you tell us about what's the difference between outsourced companies and product based companies? Because you are working in product based companies in Super Dispatch, and there are a lot of products for shippers, for dispatchers, and then so and there are there are a lot of outsourced companies. Can you talk about the difference?
Yeah, sure. As I'm working in a product company, let's start with a product company first. So in a
Mm-hmm.
product company, what you do is you you're focusing basically on one product. Of course, you can well, talking about our company now, you can move to other products as well, help there if you want. But basically, what you do is you release different design iterations. You learn based on them. Let's say you release some feature, you learn based on it. Then um, you read the data, you analyze it, and based on that, you keep improving that feature and the product itself overall. And yeah, this is a basic explanation of how product works. And if we will talk about outsource company, in the outsource company, what you do is you take the problem that clients comes to you with, you work on that problem, and once you finish your work, you just well, it depends on the contract, of course. Once you finish the work, you just give the result. Like it can be your high fidelity design stuff in Figma or whatever, and you give it to them, and you just don't care. Like you just stop thinking about it. Well, also, again, as I mentioned, it depends on the contract. So you can be contracted um, to work on 2 or 3 iterations. Let's say they release it, then you help them to improve to the next iteration. But basically, what you do is you take the project, you do the work, you just give it to them, and that's all. You don't care
Mm.
what happens to this product. You don't see how it grows. Um, you don't see how it the iterations of the design. So yeah, basically that's it.
Yeah, cool. So let's move to our main topic. It is about experiments. Um, let's move to our main topic.
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about experiments. So the main goal of experiments is learning. So if let's say you're starting your own startup or your own company, you cannot take a lot of time. You cannot spend a lot of time on um, releasing your product. So you have to move fast. And if you have some of the hypotheses and problems that you already defined, what you do is you you fastly design the stuff, you show it to the customers, and you keep iterating. Um, one of the one of the examples. So currently, as I mentioned, I'm working in a carrier product, and also in a carrier product, we're doing some of the experiments that are connected to the growth of the customers, and in this yeah, sorry in this team, what we're doing is we're launching a lot of experiments. And those experiments are how they're working. So let's say we have some of the hypotheses how something can help us to improve the, let's say, activation of the users, or that can help us to increase the retention of the users. Improve the retention of the users. So what we do based on those hypotheses, we try to launch super fast experiments and see the results. So one of the examples, so it's better understandable. One of the examples of the recent experiments that we did is what we were doing is we wanted to understand how making the sign up process a little bit longer would help us uh, to make customers stay with us, activate more, and we just basically wanted to know how would that work. So what we did is we didn't went with super high, I don't know, high quality design. So what we did is we launched the Google form based on the different questions that we had that we wanted to answer, and see those customers how they're reacting to it. So we launched that stuff, and um, we saw some of the results. So yeah, I cannot tell the results. So it's the um, under NDA. So basically what you do is you fastly launch the stuff and you see how customers are reacting to it. Because we know that there are a lot of bunch best practices in the design, but you don't know how those best practices would work with your customer and your product. So you try different approaches here with your team. So you sit down together, you brainstorm different ideas, and you try to uh, launch those experiments, like fast experiments that maybe you can release under 1 week, and um, even if possible, to see the data, to see the analysis under 1 week as well. But basically speaking, we started recently, and we didn't have so far. We couldn't make it to 1 week. It's like it can be under 2 weeks, but we're trying to make that as fast as possible to move that to 1 week iteration. And each week, let's say you launch the experiment, you see the results, and based on your learnings from that data, you launch another experiment after validating or invalidating your hypothesis that you have. So yeah, that's the shortly explanation of how the experiments actually goes inside a product. And maybe you have some questions, Jaloliddin.
Yes, of course. Because I know, I think all of them informations are under NDA, and I know it's normal situation. And not every. What do you think? Not every experiment should affect business. For example, business metrics, and then what exactly are the experiments based on? For example, does the product design team conduct stakeholder interviews, define problems, usability testing, and like that stuffs?
That's a great question. So first of all, as a product designer, you should think not only about UX UI design, but you also should think about business metrics. And this is something that every designer should consider whenever you're working on a product. And that's why those metrics are actually connected to the business metrics, as you mentioned. And what you do, so let's say you have a sorry so let's say you have a um, yeah, I'm sorry, just keep getting some of the notifications.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem.
Don't know how to mute them. All right, so let's keep going. So as I was mentioning, those are connected to business metrics. So let's say um, you have different stages of the customer. So whenever they're signing up to your product, you have the activation state, you have the setup state, and you have the habit moment. And those are the steps that you will define. So in different products, those steps would be different. But basically, but basically, God, can I mute stuff? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah,
keep
no
getting some
worries.
Telegram notifications and just disturbing me to talk.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, no worries. It's okay.
Yeah, so as I was mentioning, activation, setup, and habit moment. So whenever the user signs up, they're getting to this activation moment, and they're getting to the setup moment once they complete some of the steps that would set up their account. And once they get used to your product, they will get to the habit moment. So what we were improving at some of the experiments is we were improving this setup moment of the customers, like what what kind of experiments we can launch to improve the setup moment, and then eventually went to the habit moment. So the customers that are coming to our product, they understand what is the value they're getting, and how they can use the product, then eventually move to the habit moment. So they used to the product, they love it, they use it every day. And this is actually connected to the business metric in what matter that it's really important to the business that more customers are coming to your platform, right? And the more customers you have, the more money you will earn, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, that's actually.
Okay, that's amazing. And I would tell one story. I applied more than thousands vacancies in foreign companies. That's really
That's
I don't
awesome.
know, maybe frustration because a lot of companies just sent me a rejection, and one company we are based on UK. I passed phone screen interview, first interview, and then they sent me one one test task regarding these business metrics. And then I realized that UX UI or product design is not only drawing or designing some like that. I don't know, UI design, beautiful animations, beautiful UI designs. It as a UX or product designer, you need to impact, you need to increase your business profit, company's profits, using these business metrics, right? And all
Yeah,
of
totally.
all of yeah, all of these stuffs depends on this product team and development team. So what do you think all members of the team should be involved in the development of the product and bring more benefits? And how does the design team and development team work together when conducting various experiments?
So regarding this is a great question. Um, uh, so here in Super Dispatch, what we do is we are actually working together on something. So let's say if we have some problem, and by problem I mean that let's say customers want something new, some new feature, or there is, I don't know, can be a problem with some of the parts of the product. So what we do is we gather together to discuss what is the problem about and understand why it is a problem. And from the product manager side, what we do, we if we don't get some of the parts of the problem, if we don't understand what is going on and we need data, we try to conduct some of the interviews with customers, which is the qualitative data. And also we look at the quantitative data, like how many of those customers having this issue, if it's possible, of course, if you can see it from the analytics or whatever, or yeah, the data that you get basically. And later on, what we do is product manager basically um, fills in the some of the document explaining what is the problem, what is the business context of this problem, and what we're trying actually to reach. And if this problem, if the problem that we're solving is helping to the business, and we again sit with the team together and we brainstorm different ideas how we can solve this idea. So you don't have to be a designer to propose solution after understanding, of course, and discussing the problem. And then later on, designer sets, once the team decides what solutions they want to roll out, designer sets and starts working on the issue. Of course, sometimes we might forget about those things, but basically, this is the usual approach that we use in our company. And I think some of the companies, the great companies that we have there, they're also using the same approach. Like, not only designer can propose a solution to the problem, but uh, collectively they can sit together, they can discuss, they can brainstorm, and bring the solution. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's great. And one stuff, we were invited as a mentors, and I was assistant to ICT for girls. And during the sessions, I talked with Durdona Bahronova, and front-end developer at Super Dispatch, and she said that we have um, more than more than 80 developers in our team. And I know in Super Dispatch has six great designers. And what do you think? It is not, how can I explain? It is not big difference between these numbers, between these designers and developers. And I know designers can make a lot of stuffs. For example, they can solve a lot of problems together with development team or the other teams. And what do you think? It is, for example, for you, is it not problem to collaborate with developers?
I think it's not. But the basic rule, I would say, for something that we were discussing with our design lead as well, the
Yeah.
rule of thumb will be having one product. Let's say you have one product, and two designers are actually working on this product. So they can help each other, they can cover each other, review the designs together. And if, let's say, one of the designers is going on a vacation, other
Mhm.
designer can work on this stuff. And yeah, they're covering each other, they're helping. But yeah, I don't see any issues currently. So I'm currently working on, I would say, two products, if I can say so. The one of the products is the career growth that I was mentioning before, is the
Mhm.
not the product, but it's a team, kind of small, super small team, and where we're launching those experiments. And another is the basic career team, where we um, do some of the stuff, some of the tasks that we have in a career team. And yeah, there is no problem with the developers. Uh, what I can say is the communication is the key. So
Yeah.
communicate well, communicate a lot. So if you have any issues, just let the team know, speak to them. discuss the issues, and yeah, basically that solves all the problems. So communication is the key, I would say.
Yeah, got it. So I also wondered the usability testing during the experiments. For example, the Super Dispatch is headquartered in Missouri, in US. Am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
that's correct.
yeah, when testing experiments, it is crucial stuff to know the opinions, emotions of users, for example, drivers, dispatchers, and this stuff will help, I think, a lot of problems faster. And we know that the Super Dispatch will release products to the US market. And what do you think in such situations? How does the Super Dispatch product design team such conduct such tests?
Yeah, so uh,
I mean, in design sphere, we have two two ways to conduct usability testing. It is online usability testing, and second is offline usability testing with real users. And I mean this stuff.
you mean like how difficult it is
Yeah,
to work with the other part of the world? Like they are in the US, they have different time zone, and we are here in Uzbekistan, and we have different time zone. You mean like that?
yeah. You are right.
So what we do is we try to maximize, of course, the number of interviews that we have, like real interviews with customers. It depends on the product. So on the carrier side where I'm working. So carrier side is a dashboard and a mobile application. It's more difficult to have a discussion with them. With dispatchers, it's easier, but with drivers, they're always on the road, and uh, they usually don't respond to your requests like, "Hey, let's have an interview" or something. And
Mhm.
with the dispatchers, it's much easier. So what we do is, let's say, um, um, we have 9 to 5 work, right? And what we do is we schedule interviews for the late hours. Let's say it can be at um, 8 p.m. or I don't know, 10 p.m. or something like that. So it will be later hours. It will be kind of closer to the night in Uzbekistan. Um,
Yeah.
and we, let's say, if you have 1 hour of the interview, you just um, can remove those hours from your main working hours. Let's say if you're working from 9 to 5, you just work until the 4, and you work one hour at the night, something like that. So it's not that complicated for you, not that overloading you, I would say. And yeah, sometimes it's really difficult to have calls with them because they are not answering at all. What we do, we have a super cool team of support in Super Dispatch. So they help us to schedule those interviews. We ask them to call those customers, and they ask them if we can have a call and discuss some of the designs and have a usability testing or whatever. And can you hear me? Yeah,
Yeah.
something went wrong with the microphone. Yeah, so yeah, again, it depends on the product. On the shipper side, it's a little bit easier to conduct interviews with shippers. The last time we were doing that, it was super cool. Like I think we had 5 interviews in 1 week. But on the carrier side,
Wow.
we might have like um, maybe it can even be longer than 1 week, can be 2 weeks or three
Wow.
weeks to find some of the customers. Again, it depends. But yeah, basically what we do is we talk during the evening hours.
Oh yeah, great. So, what do you think? Is not it boring working on only one product? It is. I don't know. It is maybe it is a silly question, but I wonder it like that.
Yeah, it's a good question. Why not? Like, um, I would say it's not boring because you see how the product is growing. Because when I joined Super Dispatch, we had the what was this framework name? I forgot. So we had this old framework on our main dashboard, and I was leading the project of redesigning all of the dashboard, and we redesigned all the stuff, and now we're doing all the improvements, and you see how the product is actually growing. So it's like, it's like you are planting a seed, and you see how the seed is growing. Like it's like a tree, and you
Wow.
see how it's grooming and giving you some of the flowers whenever it's growing, right? And you see those flowers, and you make you feel great, especially once you release some of the stuff, you make some of the improvements inside the product, and you get those feedback from customers saying thank you. It makes you feel really good because you see that the product you're working on is really helping those customers. And now, moving to the topic of outsourcing or freelance, you just
Uh-huh.
give your design to some company, and you don't see those stuff, like you don't see the feedbacks of those customers because you're already working on different product, right? I might be
Mhm.
wrong here, but this is how I'm seeing this stuff.
Great. And I know Nader Khalilov, product design lead at Super Dispatch, a really great man. And I read one blog post, his Telegram channel, and he said that we I don't remember the number. We are conduct. Uh, Sorry, I don't remember. This is the name. Um, Tell and show. Am I right? Tell and
Yeah, yeah,
show
that's
session.
right.
Uh, um, every week, or I don't know, every month. Can you tell us about this session? It is because in Uzbekistan we have a few agencies, product teams, and there are small designers team, and this is the one of the most great product design team is Super Dispatch, and I want to know this tell and show session.
Yeah, thank you. So in the talent show sessions, what we do is we share some of the knowledge that we have. Let's say one designers learn something new, they say, "Hey, let's do a show and tell session." They send an invite. We sit together. We and the guy or girl who decided to provide a show and tell session, they show and tell basically. you know so this can be one of the examples can be so um, Figma had some of the tips and tricks, and one of the sessions that I provided is I showed some of the tips and tricks that can help us work faster. And it was really great session. So we had different questions like, all right, how can we do this thing, or how can we do this thing? And yeah, that was great. Another example of the session can be watching some of the conferences together and discussing some of the design patterns, design approaches that designers from different part of the world are sharing. So those sessions are really great in terms of discussing the stuff, communicating together, be closer to each other, and yeah, basically this is the stuff that we do in show and tell sessions.
Yeah, amazing. So, I have one question. It is not regarding experiments, but I really wondered that stuff. We know the overall products businesses are growing faster in the world, and I these days I'm saying one stuff is um, I'm seeing vacancies is or is about growth stuff. I applied a lot of growth product designer vacancies. And what do you think? I don't know. Will there in Super Dispatch will open a growth product designer who responsible for growth, only growth for the product. And I know one girl, Kate Suma, Kate Suma in Miro. I read a lot of blog posts, and I interested in.
Yeah, I think that we could have some of the vacancies. Not sure for now, but let's see. Like time will show. But I think yeah, we might have. We might have.
Yeah. I will ask to another Khalil because
Yeah,
he
he definitely knows.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, we have some question in our group. So
All right.
I'm reading.
Okay.
So now nowadays, if people talk about beautiful mobile app design made by Uzbeks, always Apple scene mobile application, is mentioned. Although there are other a lot of cool designed apps. So what is your opinion? What makes Apple's Apple scene app so different?
Well,
I think
um,
it is not a totally obvious question. Maybe I don't know.
well, I have used Apelsin, and well, how it. Well, actually, I haven't worked there, so can't say for sure like why it makes the this app so different from others. I guess one of the main things that they have um, is the least amount of the percentage for the
Yes.
transaction that you can use, and this is the main thing I heard from my friends whenever they were actually saying. That I have to start using Applesin. Other
Yes.
than that, other than that, I think um, UI looks fine, but maybe the research and the stuff that they do, maybe they do a lot of research stuff, right? Do a lot of
Mm.
interviews with customers, but this is just some of the guesses that I'm currently having, so not 100% sure. But yeah, again, one of the main things that they have is the list amount of the percentage for transaction.
Yes.
This is the thing why actually I am using Apple and my friends are using it.
Yes, and one stuff I would tell you, I met with Sergey Popkov, founder of Skillbox and ICE company, and he mentioned that I use it Apple's application, and I really like it. It is like Tinkoff, Alpha Bank, like mobile apps. It's really great application. When I was using,
Nice.
and yeah, and also I have question about UX and CX design. So these days we are seeing this um, CX word. Can you tell us about what's the difference between user experience and customer experience?
Well, I haven't heard much about that customer experience stuff. But from what I can say is the industry is changing too fast, and those titles that we are currently having is the vanity thing. Like um, those titles are not saying anything. So you can be a product designer, you can be UX UI designer, you can be CX designer or something else, right?
Yeah.
But the industry is changing, and if you will look through the ads, um, different companies are actually mentioning those designers. Like they can say UX designer, they can say product designer, they can say UX UI evangelist or something like that. Some super pooper, uh, fancy words
Yeah.
in their
Yeah.
applications. But if you will read through those applications, what they want is they want you to think about the business metrics, think
Mm.
about user experience, right? And
Yeah.
do some cool stuff like do the research, learn from customers, and do the great design. So yeah, I would say those are um, just title thing,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
somebody says like, "Hey, I'm just a digital product design evangelist that is working here,"
Wow.
right?
Really,
Yeah. So those
yeah.
are just titles. Like you have to basically focus on your skills and what you're actually doing, and yeah, this is my
Okay, I
thoughts on
got it.
this thing.
Yeah, I got it. And also, I have a question. How to well implement user research results? Is there any generally rules regarding this?
So, on the topic of user research, this is a really big topic.
Hmm.
So, we can talk hours about this topic. But basically, what you do is you have the problem, and if you want to make a research with users, you have to get a list of the stuff like what is the goal of your research? What are the questions that you want to answer with your research? And there are different type of research you can do. You can do a usability testing. You can do interviews. You can do, as I was previously mentioning, qualitative and quantitative analysis. So qualitative is like why those customers are doing this stuff, and quantitative is like if they're doing it a lot or not, like the data that you look through. Like let's say you have 100 customers and only 5 are doing this stuff, and you understand like yeah, this is not something I should be working on. Or yeah, just a quick example on this. Yeah, so
Hmm.
it depends actually on your goal and what you want to reach with your research, but this is really a big topic to discuss. But yeah, I would say basically the rule of thumb will be to have a goal of your research, like why you're doing this research. Are you want to answer some of the questions? If so, what are the questions that you have that you want to ask your customers? And basically, you do the research. Like it's usually a lot of times it's just a interview with customer. Like you go and talk to them, you ask those questions, and yeah, so this can be your audience, general audience that you are focusing on, depending on the product, of course.
Hmm. Yeah, I know it's really wide topic to speak more, and I think that's enough for today for our podcast. And I have some questions in the beginning. So, can you advise three design books related the design? Um, can you advise?
Yeah, let me think. One of the books I would really advise is Design of Everyday Things. This is really awesome book. Then maybe I can just open my Goodreads and go through some of the books that I have. So, one of the recent books that I read is Made to Stick. This is really a great book, which says why some of the ideas survive and other die. Is basically how you should talk, how you should explain yourself, and basically about everything: marketing, design, just delivering your idea. Then, yeah, this one is short book,
Mhm.
but maybe still like an artist. So let it be the third book. So
Yeah,
this is a really
great.
great one. Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
I liked it. So those are
Okay.
three books I would recommend just from the top of my mind.
Yeah, cool. So, which three designers, or if you want to speak more, advise more, which three designers do you recommend to follow regularly?
John Ive. Yeah, actually, I would say there are a lot of great designers in the design sphere. So basically, going to the design blogs, reading different blogs of those designers. I actually don't have some of the specified designers, I would say. So reading a lot of different designers, like on their blogs, and yeah, I cannot recommend some specific ones. Maybe I should have to look at my list, but yeah, basically just going to the fields, learning some stuff from people, right, from the design sphere, taking the information that you need. So always filter the information. Like if you think that's not related, just don't read it. Like,
Yeah. So, we have one question in our group. So, could you please tell us three of your favorite websites and also three mobile applications?
wow, why three? That's interesting. So
I don't know.
one,
You can speak more. You can tell us.
yeah. So one of the great designs is of course Apple.com.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah. Now let's move to some of the mobile apps that I love. Um,
Or you can send these links, or I don't know, screenshots to post is uh,
yeah,
discussion.
I would say Yandex Go because this is really easy app to use. Like you
Mhm.
just point the stuff where you want, and it just takes you there. Uh, Yandex Maps, they're really good at the navigation stuff.
Yeah,
Um, well, it's related, I would say, to Yandex Go, but still, like their map is great. Like the how they're structuring the navigation. They even show where is the um, I don't know how is it called in English. They even show podjezd.
uh,
The number of podjezd. They show it like where they're situated, like all that stuff. That's really awesome. Um,
yeah,
Another app is so I use a lot of mobile apps rather than websites, and that's why I'm like just listing the apps that I love. Another app that I love is Guitar Tuner. So this is app to tune your guitar, and it's really awesome. It shows you how you should move your those toggles to tune your guitar, and
wow.
it's really easy to use. There have one of the stuff that I would improve maybe is that they have a lot of tops there, but I'm only using one of them. Like others are just useless. If you will go to them, it's like a lot of different information that you don't even need. So it's basically this app just needs this tuner screen, and that's all. And yeah, another great app is Spark. Spark is
email
application for email, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You're using
Uh,
it, right?
yeah, I'm using
Yeah, it's really great.
when I bought Mac.
Yeah, it's really great. You can have different accounts. Like I have, let me just count. I have 4 email accounts, and they're all synchronized in one application. I don't have to jump between those um, accounts. I see all my inbox there, and I can just swipe with my finger and
Yeah.
just archive those messages so they're not kind of
Yeah.
dancing in front of my eyes. I just open the email and just click this archive tab, and it will just move to another email, so I don't have to spend a lot of time on those emails. So what
Yeah,
else?
that's great.
Yeah, basically, I think that's it.
Hmm. Okay. So maybe it's enough. And I have the latest question. It's not question.
Okay.
Your advices for young designers like me.
Advice for young designers. So do the
I know.
stuff.
Is it hard?
No, it's not hard. So my advice would be do the stuff and don't regret about doing it. So
Wow.
better do something than not do and regret about not doing it later. So this is one thing I would advise you to do. And it's actually connected to the experiments as well. Like do a lot of experiments, like go talk, don't be shy, and show the stuff that you have. Talk to customers, even though most of us are actually afraid of some of the bad feedback or something else. But this is actually feedback not about you. This is feedback about your work. And whenever you're showing it and you're getting this feedback, especially if it's constructive and you know like why they commented like this, and you improve your work, this make you a better designer. So share your works. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid. Get a lot of feedback, and yeah, do a lot of experiments. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think we can finish on this note.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your time overall. That's
Thank
really
you for
great.
inviting.
My pleasure. So, overall, I decided to conduct the podcast in English. It's a bit challenging for me because right now I'm intermediate level, and I wanna level up my English, and I have one way to improve my English. It is speak more in English with
Yeah,
English.
that's great. That's great.
And also, I really like your English. Like
Thank you.
you speak like native speakers, and
Well, I have to
kattakon
practice
rahmat.
anyway. I don't
Oxirdan
know how
o'zbekcha
to
gapiradi.
translate Podkast, so I'm not
Yeah,
advanced
yeah,
at all.
yeah, 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 yeah. I know this word, and I will tell you this word. I will ask my teacher in merit, and I didn't remember. I know this
Don't
word.
bother. Don't bother. I will look in the translator. It's totally
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kattakon
I
rahmat.
would say thank you to everyone for joining this podcast. Thank you for listening and having your questions. Yeah, and if you will have any later questions, just let me know. You can just DM me in my account. Probably I won't answer too fast, so yeah, just have a little bit of patience. So yeah, thank you for everyone.
Rahmat kattakon. Rozi bo'lganingizga juda ham yaxshi informatsiyalar shaxsan men o'zimga oldim. Mana oxirida o'zbekcha gapiryapman. Thanks for everyone who joined us today. Um, Thanks for everyone. Big thanks for Azizbek to you.
All
So,
right,
good evening.
bye bye.
Bye bye.